You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take a...
Sports announcer at home?
Yeah, how'd you...
We just know.
My wife picks up the new Signature Wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mixed with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her name. She lifts the wrap and she takes the bite! Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Welcome to CIRCUMSPICE, the right side of Michigan. All things Michigan from a conservative point of view.
You know, I hate starting out my show this way, but I'm going to start out my show this way because getting ready for tonight, I stumbled across an article, and it's in People, but I also saw a couple other things. I remember them coming out with a news report, coming out with a request, having people keep an eye out for this family, a father, a mother, and an 8-month-old son. They found them. This is up by the Bay City area. Welcome to CIRCUMSPICE, the right side of Michigan. I am your humble host, Alan Ray, by the way. I hope you're listening to this live. If you are listening to this live, get in chat, www.klrnradio.net/chat. And talk to us, harass us, have fun with us. This is not fun. This sucks. Okay? But I got to say this. I got to start out the show this way because this is the first thing I want you to hear when you start listening to this. Yes, I'm going to preach to you. A Michigan family missing for nearly 2 weeks has been found dead, according to authorities. In a statement to People, the Ogemaw County Sheriff's Office confirms that their bodies of Michael Doherty, 35, Amanda Pomeroy, 32, and their 8-month-old son, Jacob Doherty, were found by officials on Saturday. Their discovery came 3 days after the Michigan State Police issued an endangered missing advisory, according to ABC affiliate WJRT. The Bay City family was last seen on January 12th in the Standish-Sterling area after dropping their 9-year-old daughter off at a friend's house. Now, when the couple failed to answer their phones or social media days later, family members grew concerned and alerted the Bay City Department of Public Safety, which officially reported the couple missing on January 16th. It was way too late by then, I can tell you right now. At the time, it was believed they were traveling with their infant son, but it was not confirmed. Police reportedly noted in their advisory. Now, around 4:25 p.m. on Saturday, a snowmobiler spotted a stranded vehicle matching the description of the family's vehicle in a wooded area off Stony Ridge Road in Rose Township in Ogemaw County. Police say they located the family's bodies outside of the vehicle, though it was unclear how far away from the car they were found. The sheriff's office also noted that the family's car was stuck on a large rock on the 2-track roadway and was disabled. Okay, if you're not from Michigan, you're not from a wooded area, you don't know what a 2-track is. The upper part of the Lower Peninsula and the Upper Peninsula in the wooded areas have 2 tracks. They don't have roads. These things are, these are just exactly what it sounds like. 2 tracks where your tires go. And you go through the woods, you go through different places. This is what people use to cross different areas, go out hunting, whatever. Anyways, that's where there was. The first thing my wife asked me, well, couldn't they flag somebody down? And I was like, no, they were in a 2-track. Oh, she understood exactly. Okay. Following the gruesome discovery, the missing persons case was closed by both BC DPS and the Michigan State Police, and as the Ogemaw County Sheriff's Office continued to investigate. On Wednesday, the Sheriff's Office confirmed that the autopsies were complete with preliminary results indicating that hypothermia and exposure to winter elements were the family's preliminary causes of death. There you go. How many times do I have to go over this? How many times do we have to sit here? And there people warn you, there's articles. This is winter and it's in Michigan. This is up north, quite a bit farther from here. Okay. I hate to have to do this again. For those of you who listen all the time, this is something you hear me say quite often. Rule of 3s. Okay. 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without warmth, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. Right now, right at this very moment, it is blowing. It is cold. I just came back inside from rolling the trash out to the curb. And let me tell you what, the wind's blowing. It's brisk out there. You do not last long exposed to these kind of elements. I guarantee you these people did not have things in their car to keep them warm. I guarantee you they did not have a survival kit, a bug out bag, something. And now we have a family dead. We have a little boy, we have a mother and father dead, and there's a daughter out there whose whole family was just wiped out. What is she going to do? Seriously, I hate to start out like this. I really do. But it's not rocket science, people. It's common sense. You can look around your house right now and build a fairly adequate warm winter survival kit. You got a cat? Well, then you got cat litter. Take a bag of it. Throw it in the back of your vehicle. Get a small, it doesn't have to be big. Get a small shovel. Extra boots, extra gloves, extra hats, blankets. Go down to Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever and you buy one of the, just a can, a paint can. Get a survival candle, one of them 9-hour burning candles. And make sure you've got about 2 or 3 different ways to light that sucker too. Matches, lighters, flint, whatever you need. You can take that candle, put it in that can, light it up because you don't want to sit there and run your car, and you could stay fairly warm. That's a decent little heater for an enclosed area. Of course, crack your windows a little bit because you don't want to die. A fire going inside your car. You have to be very, very, very careful. It'll burn up all the oxygen and you could catch the car on fire. A small flashlight. I have a cell phone charger, a solar cell phone charger. Those are great. Regular cell phone charger too. You can tap your battery out. You'll do all right. Pencil and paper to write things down for an emergency. Small bag of tools, a duct tape, pliers, a screwdriver that changes heads, little things like that. You won't believe what you can do with something like that. Jumper cables, like I said, a small shovel, a can of Fix-A-Flat, a flashlight. If you have a flashlight, take the batteries out of the flashlight, store the batteries separate, wrapped up in, something. So when you need them, they're still fresh. First aid kit, all of this stuff is readily available. You got that old sleeping bag that you haven't used in 5 years? Throw it in the back of your car. Seriously. And yes, looking in chat tonight, guys, thanks for hanging out with me tonight. We got GR, got Jeff, got Ordy, got Mini Raptor in there, Raptor. 1 bit, I think he's out there lurking. But yeah, exactly. A collapsing shovel that you got at a thrift store. Army surplus. And Mini Raptor, right. Steel wool is a great conductor. Great conductor. You go light fires with it. Okay. There is no excuse whatsoever to not have these kind of supplies in your vehicle. If you got a vehicle with a trunk, you can take just a decent size box or a bag or something, stuff all this stuff in it and throw it in the trunk. There you'll have it. I have rip packs, those hand warmer rip packs. I got tons of those in my vehicle. Tons of them. Thermal blankets, those lightweight, they look like aluminum foil is what they look like, but you can wrap up in them. They reflect your body heat back to you. You put those on over some warm clothes and you can stay fairly warm. There is no excuse for what happened to those people. And conditions can change in a minute. I mean, just a couple of days ago, yesterday, it was cold, but it wasn't that bad out. Right now, woke up this morning, couple inches of snow on the ground. It's very slick out. Very slick. These people were on a 2-track, got stuck on a rock. You never think that something like this is going to happen. I see people get in their vehicles with light jackets. Oh, I'm just going to work. It's only about 20 miles. All right, well, 10 miles into it, middle of the night, what happens if you wreck? What happens if your car breaks down? You think, especially if you're going to be on the road taking trips. You got kids in college, one of the best gifts you can give them is packing them a bag like this and making sure it's in their vehicle. That's where I almost bought it, coming back from college. Huge snowstorm. In fact, it was just south of Louisville, Kentucky. And it's just a weird phenomenon. It just dumped all kinds of snow. A semi truck went sideways, went down a hill, and about 20 cars piled into it. Okay, my cousin left 3 hours. We were coming back from college. He went to college with me. He left 3 hours before I did. He was at the front of this traffic jam, and I was at the back. It was cold. We sat there for hours on end. You had to keep shutting your car off so you didn't die of asphyxiation. Finally I had a good old boy say, hey, you boys want to get out of here? Yeah, we took back roads from Louisville, Kentucky to Cincinnati, Ohio. Let me tell you what, that was scary, especially for an 18-year-old kid. All right. Rule of threes. Seriously. Yeah, do it now. Do it right after this show. Right after this show. Don't say, oh, we'll put it off. Right after this show, before you go to bed, grab an extra couple of blankets, grab something that you can start, a small can and a candle that you can put in there, make a makeshift heater in your vehicle. The rip packs are just a lifesaver. I mean, those things will warm you right up, keep you warm. Extra coat, extra hat, extra gloves. There's no excuse. It's winter in Michigan, people. You won't last long out there if you don't have protection. All right. I'm Alan Ray. I'm going to get to the real meat of the show now. Preaching time is over. Let's get it started. So we have something cool coming to the state of Michigan. I think it's really cool. It's going to piss off everybody on the left, but that's just fine. Like other sports group, USA Shooting has struggled during the coronavirus pandemic when surging cases in Colorado Springs, Colorado area prompted the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Training Center to close for several weeks. Its shooters practiced by firing off air guns inside a defunct Macy's store. USA Shooting has made one gain, however, that few sports governing bodies can match during the pandemic cutbacks. It landed a decade-long partnership worth millions. Hillsdale College, a conservative Christian school of about 1,500 people in southern Michigan, will invest more than $15 million in a shooting facility construction, upgrades, and endowment in a sponsorship deal with USA Shooting, along with cash support and in-kind contributions. Starting this year, USA Shooting will relocate 3 major competitions and some team training camps to the college and has agreed that Hillsdale can call itself the home of the United States National Shooting Team. Congratulations, Hillsdale College. If you don't know about Hillsdale College, especially if you live in the state of Michigan, what are you doing? Visit their website. Hillsdale College is absolutely phenomenal. Free classes. You want to learn about the Constitution? You want to really be solid when somebody says something about the Constitution and you just know in your heart that that's wrong? You want to be solid about your constitutional knowledge? Hillsdale College will give you just free and clear, free classes on the United States Constitution. Good classes online to take at your own leisure. I mean, it's winter. Winter sucks in Michigan. You can't really get out there and do a whole lot. It's a perfect time to just sit back and enrich your brain. They have other classes too. Classes about our founding fathers, history classes, things like that. All free. It's a great place. And now they're going to be the home for the U.S. Olympic National Shooting Team. That is exceptional. Congratulations, Hillsdale College. That is so cool. I mean, I can imagine that, some of the people out there are going to be whining and crying. And, oh, you don't need more guns in Michigan. Everybody's got a gun in Michigan. Most people on the left, I know, have a gun in Michigan. All right. That's one thing about this state that kind of cracks me up. Okay. I don't hate anybody on the left. Okay. I don't hate anybody. I don't have the energy to hate anybody. I'll rag on people. I'll dog on people. Even Gretsch. I'm sure if I met Gretsch face to face, I would just say, I don't agree with any of your politics, but look, let's just go have a sandwich and we'll talk about it. But that's the thing. I know a ton of people that vote Democrat. And I don't understand why they do it. And the same people, man, they've got enough arms that make me look like a rank amateur. Now, of course, you got your other Karens out there. Like, oh, guns are bad and good. But anyways, there is a large group that the direction that this nation is going, they will not agree with. They will not agree with at all. I don't know why they keep voting in people that want it to go that way. But let's face it, folks, especially in a place where once you get outside of certain city areas, you're waiting 10, 15, 20 minutes for a cop to even show up if your community even has township police. You might have to wait for the state police or the sheriff. And, on a night like this, well, this is the type of night where if you need a cop real bad, you ain't going to get a cop. You're just going to be real bad. It's cold. It's, they're out there. I'm sure there's about 100 wrecks just in this county alone that they're tending to. They're not going to get to you in a timely manner. So it's up to you to kind of protect yourself if you live out in the areas like I do. So, yeah, and you're right. GR says, Rush Limbaugh once said, have a conversation long enough with anyone. You can eventually find something you have a common ground on. And that is true. That is true. And I'm not even going to lie. I'm a musician. And some of the people I'm on stage with, I know how they vote. They know how I vote. We've had civil conversations about our politics, and we don't let it get the best of us. And then we go up on stage and we tear it up because we're not jerks. We can exist together. That's the secret to it all. Don't be a jerk. You can still stand your ground with what you believe in. You don't have to cave. but there's so many other things to connect on. And that's one of the things, there's a lot of people in this state that hunt and fish on both sides of politics, but you have to be careful who you're voting for because a lot of people want to take that away from. So I got off track a little bit, but yeah, congratulations, Hillsdale College. Support them. Send your kids there. Go there yourself. But get online, check out. They got all these cool free classes. Get online and check them out. They're neat. All right. Well, and I really hate to stay on this because, boy, we're going to have to talk about COVID. But this hit close to home. This is only about 7 miles from where I'm broadcasting from. 9 Roman Catholic nuns in southern Michigan have died in January from COVID-19 outbreaks in their retirement home. The women lived at the campus of the Adrian Dominican Sisters in Adrian at Siena Heights College. Siena Heights College is not very far away from here. In fact, if I go into the town of Adrian, which isn't too far from here, if I go one certain way, I have to go right by Siena Heights College. I know people who work there. I've known people who go there. It's a great place. Sad, sad time. It's just an ugly reminder. These ladies were from 79 to 97. All right. They were in that sweet spot of people who die from COVID-19. They were locked down together. And, after more than 9 months without a single COVID case among them, all of a sudden it just went through there. And when it did, it killed a lot of them. It's a very, very sad day. 9 of the 12 deaths of Adrian Dominican Sisters this month were linked to COVID-19. So, yeah, condolences go out to the Dominican Sisters. They do a lot of great work in the Adrian, the Lenawee County area. And, man, our thoughts and prayers are with them. It's a sad time. Speaking of that, Gretch, Governor Whitmer, for those of you who don't realize that who I call Gretch, had her State of the State address. And before I go into this, and I can't type and talk at the same time. I'll end up sticking my finger in my mouth. I look like Joe Biden. No, just kidding. Let's check on the stats. Let's see how things are going. Now, a couple of things have happened since we really checked on the stats last time. 2 things. Number 1, we have a new president. And of course, when you look at the top, the same lies, okay. 104 deaths, and then they got a little asterisk. You look down at the asterisk. 93 of those deaths were from her vital records review, which means they had 11 deaths. And most of those, the lion's share of those were people over 70. But you look at them right now, and I suspect when I click on the statistics, when I click on the graphs that I always click on, that we're going to see a very, very sharp downturn in cases and everything else. And it's not because people are getting vaccinated. That has nothing to do with it. I mean, yeah, they're getting shots in arms. I work right behind a place where they're just lined up, getting their shots, doing all this stuff. It has more to do with a couple other things. Number 1, I think we're starting, and if you haven't woke up to this fact, we're starting to get the picture that this is politically driven. And you can tell by the rhetoric. You can tell by a few things. Oh, hey, look, I was right. It has taken a sharp downturn since, let's see, November 8th. What happened then? One of the other things that happened was that they, basically the CDC or the World Health Organization said, hey guys, we have the threshold for the tests set wrong. And it's really, really easy to get a false positive the way we have these confirmed. And so, go ahead and feel free to just make these changes where there's not going to be nearly as many positives. Of course, they don't need to have as many positives because, well, there's a lot of people in a lot of countries that wanted this president out of Washington, D.C. And it's kind of looking that way. So now we are almost back down to last September levels. Okay. What is that going to mean? We made it through the winter, and yeah, the cases spiked. Did the deaths spike? A little bit, not as much as you would think they would. Now it shows in here that they spiked like crazy. If you really look at the stats, oh my gosh, but yeah, they spiked a little bit. But when you look at the cumulative trends of the coronavirus pandemic, they don't want you to look at the cumulative trends. The death rate stayed pretty flat compared to the cases, and the thing about it is people, this is the time of year, winter, from November all the way through to March, it's the hardest on older people. And if you look at the demographics, we're going to go over this again, and I'm going to keep just pleading with you to get on michigan.gov/coronavirus. Look for yourself. Look at the deaths. The cases are happening. Okay. There's no denying it's going through. It's just ravaging through a lot of people. In fact, the cases themselves have gone from 50 to 70 years old, now 20, basically 19 through 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds are getting it more than anything. 20 through 29s are where it's spiking. However, they're getting it and they're getting better. Like I've been saying from the whole time, the death rates are from 60 to 80. That's where it's significant. And out of those, from 70 to 80 on up is where most of those are. Older, this is an elderly person killer. This is what we need to focus on. Instead, we're running around keeping high school sports shut down, and we're going to talk about that more in a minute. We're running around keeping colleges locked down. We're running around doing all of this crazy stuff that we know that the people who are getting it, out of all of those, 99% of them, you just send home and you say, look, here's some meds, get better. And they're going to get better. Now, it's funny, and if you haven't been paying attention to what's going on a national level, they're coming out now and saying, oh, by the way, we may have been wrong about hydroxychloroquine. And even Facebook has stopped ever since Donald Trump has got out of Washington, D.C., Facebook has done this restructuring and looked at some more facts. And, I guess you could talk about hydroxychloroquine as a treatment for COVID-19 now. Really? That's what they're doing. It's crazy. It's stupid. But anyways, yeah, Gretch did her State of the State thing this week. It was pathetic. It was pandering. I don't know. To me, just listening to it, the whole thing was, let's reach across the aisle. It's time to work together. Now, the time to work together, Gretch, was last March when you unilaterally took control of the entire government and you clamped everything down. You spiked the suicide rate. You spiked drug usage and alcohol abuse rates. You spiked things like domestic violence. You destroyed thousands of jobs. You're still trying to kill the restaurant industry. I don't know what you have against the restaurant industry, but you are still trying to kill it, even though the scientific facts say that more than twice as many cases go from person to person in close contact work areas and home. So whatever science she's using, and they keep asking her, what's the science you're using? Well, she won't say because, she knows better than anybody else. She's smarter than anybody else. She knows more than anybody else. And she gets up there now with the State of the State and says, we have to work together. She hasn't worked together with anybody all year. And now, basically, Senate Leader Shirky has come out, and it's kind of funny because they ask him about that. Where do you see the road to collaboration and all of that? He says, well, I see a road to collaboration, but it takes two to dance. This is Mike Shirky. And I believe the Senate and the House are willing to dance, but there has to be a dance partner. And so far, we haven't seen much of that partnership. And that's not something I'm happy about or proud about, but we need to have a dance partner. In other words, they're trying to work with her. She's slamming the door. She's doing things like, we need to take care of workers. But then she line item vetoes the money needed to take care of the workers. She's not working with anybody. She knows it all. She's a spoiled rich kid. and she shines too much. She needs to powder her forehead. It's already the bottom of the hour. When we come back, we're going to continue this line of thought with the state of the state. And there's more. There's a battle going on in Lansing right now. Things are kind of breaking down for our dear beloved governor. We'll talk about it. Don't go anywhere.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Kind of funny. Can't get away from Lions football. Saw an interview with Matthew Stafford. He indicated that he told the Lions that he'd go anywhere that's not New England. Sorry, that made me laugh. So I guess going to New England is off. It's off the table. He doesn't want to go there. So wherever he goes, his mansion's for sale. You got $6 million. You can buy Matthew Stafford's. Mansion. I think what's it up at Grosse Pointe, someplace like that, right on the water. Beautiful, $6 million. So there you have it. Yeah, anywhere but New England. Rumor has it he's going to Chicago. I would dig that. I like Chicago. A lot of people, they've turned their nose up at Chicago Bears. I've always liked Chicago Bears. And it's kind of funny. My son likes Chicago. Well, he did like Chicago Bears when he was playing football and everything, but I don't know what he likes now. But yeah, that would be all right. I could dig that. So anyways, yeah, Gretch, state of the state. She did the whole politician state of the state thing, look in the camera all sanctimoniously and say, we're doing great. We're going to make a comeback. Don't you worry. I worry because she doesn't have any clue what she's doing. So yeah. And GR, you're right. Matt Patricia being in New England might have a lot to do with it, a whole bunch to do with it, to tell you the truth. So yeah. Yeah, Rams. I could go with the Rams. I've always liked the Rams. That'd be cool. Is that what he's doing? Is that where he's going? He's heading to the Rams, guys? The guys in the chat are telling me he's heading to the Rams. I haven't heard this yet. So yeah, that's okay. Like I said last week, he's good. His stats are great. The only problem he has is he's great up until the time where he has to be great. And then it seems like he falls apart. But some of that has to do with the team built around him. When you're getting your butt kicked because your offensive line will let wads of paper through, it's really hard to be a good quarterback. I mean, you can be an okay quarterback, and if you have a really, really good offensive line, you can sit back there in the pocket and you can pick out where you want to go, and you've got time to do things, and it makes you look really good. You can be a really good quarterback, but if you're getting clobbered every single play, after a while, it takes its toll. So yeah, wherever you go, Matthew Stafford, God bless you. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. It's just the Lions. They'll find somebody else to destroy, I'm sure. Anyways, Whitmer's state of the state, she called for bipartisan action to respond to the coronavirus pandemic and put the state on a path toward economic recovery. The call came in the State of the State address delivered amidst the continuing clashes with the GOP-led legislature over her handling of the COVID-19 crisis. Whitmer highlighted what she sees as a state's accomplishment in the face of a pandemic that has killed more than 14,000 Michiganders and urged the legislature to take action to speed the state's recovery. But at times, she painted a rosier picture of the state's achievement than what was warranted. Let's take a look at some of the things that she has said during her State of the State that, may not exactly be right. She claimed that we have performed over 9.6 million tests, which make us the 7th in the nation. Now, Michigan does rank among the highest in the nation for the number of tests administered, but much lower for tests per capita. Michigan is the 9th most populous state in the country. As of January 26, Michigan providers had conducted more than 9.3 million diagnostic tests, which are used to determine whether someone currently has COVID-19, and roughly 480,000 serology tests, which looks for the possibility of previous infections. Okay, when you see all of these thousands and thousands and thousands of positives, a lot of those were the serology tests, which means, I had it once, but it's not there anymore. So that brings the total to just over 9.8 million tests. So her number was accurate. As for the rankings that she quoted, it's really difficult to compare. Now, I'm getting all this from the Detroit Free Press. Some of the states report the number of people tested each day, while others report the number of tests administered. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, Michigan is among the nation's leaders in tests administered, but ranks 5th among the states that report their data that way. But per capita, Michigan lags. In the past week, it administered 3,920 tests each day for every 1 million residents, placing the state way behind 22 others in the number of reports administered. So there you go. She was kind of questionable on that one. She says, By acknowledging the disparate impact of COVID-19 on communities of color, we not only saved lives in Michigan, but around the country as other states learned from us. Now, in late April, Whitmer established the Michigan Coronavirus Task Force on Racial Disparities, which has been hailed as a national model for addressing the disproportionate impact COVID-19 has had on communities of color. In April, black people, who made up 13.7% of the state's population, accounted for 43% of the COVID-19 deaths, according to the Detroit Free Press analysis. That share has decreased significantly since then. The death and infection rate among black residents in the state has also declined significantly and converged with other racial groups. Michigan seems to have bucked the national trend as black communities across the country continue to experience disproportionately high death rates. Public health experts say that the state as well as local governments can claim some credit for reducing racial disparities over the course of the coronavirus pandemic, but pointed to other factors too, such as embracing of mask wearing among black residents. Now, I'm going to tell you this right off the bat. I work with a pretty high proportion of black people, and they really do. They wear rubber gloves. They wear masks. They clean things all the time. They are, even before this pandemic, they were on the verge of being germaphobes. So that doesn't surprise me at all. But it's them. It's not the government. They are the ones doing it. They are the ones taking action. The government can't really say, well, we did it. Gretsch can't say, well, I did it. What else? My plan includes a call. This is a quote from Gretsch. My plan includes a call on the legislator to permanently extend unemployment benefits from 20 to 26 weeks. This would bring Michigan in line with 40 other states. There are actually 45 states that provide 26 weeks of unemployment benefits to their residents under regular unemployment systems. Of those, 19 have extended benefits for an additional 13 to 20 weeks. We're lagging way behind in that. In January, Whitmer's line item veto of a COVID-19 relief bill eliminated a temporary 6-week extension of unemployment benefits. Her office said that the legislature tied the benefits extension to funding, a move over her office says it never agreed to. And now Whitmer is asking the legislature to permanently extend aid to 26 weeks after killing the money to actually allow us to do that. So, as usual, and then again, she's calling for, both parties to come together and hold hands and sing Kumbaya. And let's take care of this together. But it's not what she wants. We've already seen what she wants. She wants unilateral and absolute control over the entire state. Now, she's out there, and then right now we're kind of in this he said, she said. She's out there pointing fingers at the Republicans, the leadership of the Republicans, saying that they're cruel and reckless because they didn't do a lot of the funding that she wanted to fund. Instead of opening the state up and letting schools go back and letting people go back to work and letting us build the economy back, she wants everybody to just sit home and have the government fund them. So she's out there pointing fingers back at them, but she really has nobody to point fingers to. She has been using every single power that she has to unilaterally keep the state clamped shut. And it's taking its toll. It's taking its toll. Michigan suffered the worst job losses in the U.S. during the Whitmer lockdowns. What's this according to? Breitbart News. So you won't get this in any regular news report, because if they were to come out and say this, Gretsch is kind of high up on the Democrat worship poll. They just love their Gretchen Whitmer. Well, we know better. So when you see things like this, Michigan suffered the worst job losses in the country in December as Gretchen Whitmer's latest lockdown stretched well past the announced 3-week phase. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor and Statistics, Michigan lost 64,400 jobs in the final month of 2020. Michigan Rising Action found. The stats also revealed Michigan had the 11th highest unemployment rate at 7.5%. Michigan's Rising Action also reported 15 states added jobs during the period, while 24 others remained stable. So Michigan saw a 3.6% point increase year over year from a 3.9% in December of 2019. Last week, Whitmer eased restrictions on restaurants and bars, which is going to kick in tomorrow. Still, she's limited the capacity to 25% and ordered them to close by 10 p.m. because, the coronavirus attacks you after 10 o'clock at night. And GR, you're exactly right. Gretchen used every power she had and a few she didn't have. That's exactly it. That's why she got her hand slapped right back across the table. She claims the pause has worked. The efforts we have made together to protect our families, frontline workers, and hospitals have dramatically reduced cases and have saved lives. No, it's actually the proof when you compare Michigan to states that had no lockdowns at all. The rates are almost identical. In fact, the states that didn't lock down at all were a lot more even. There weren't the spikes. So that's a bunch of crap. She has no science to back this up. She has killed the restaurant industry. There's a few thousand businesses that are just never going to be back again. They're gone. They're gone. And they're small businesses. They're businesses that can't afford to stay open, do what they're wanting to do. And now you got the federal government that wants a $15 an hour minimum wage that's going to kill even more small businesses, trapping more people hopelessly in the slavery of the welfare system. Well, people are fighting back. There was a big protest at the Capitol over the sports pause, and I'm glad to see this. The message rang across the steps of the Senate Capitol building in Lansing on Saturday afternoon like a buzzer in a silent gymnasium. This is according to MLive. Thousands of high school coaches, players, and parents across Michigan rallied together under organization of Let Them Play group to deliver a battle cry against the lingering suspension of winter contact sports such as basketball, ice hockey, wrestling, and competitive cheer. Governor Gretchen Whitmer announced on January 22nd, under the guidance of Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, which is no longer under the direction of creepy Robert Gordon, the beginning of indoor contact sports will be pushed back from February 1st to February 21st. She has no reason to do that. None whatsoever. But she's doing it anyways. She's pushing buttons just to see what's going to happen. And there were easily 2,000 people from across the state to show their support to that protest Saturday. Some of them from the Upper Peninsula drove 9 hours just to be there. Now, you don't realize how big the state of Michigan is till you have to drive from the Upper Peninsula all the way down to Lansing. It's a long way. The crowd was incredible, and the kids who got up and spoke really showcased the emotion that everyone is going through right now. And our tendency is to roll our eyes and go, oh, it's just high school sports. To the kids, it's everything. Right now, in Norton Shores, Michigan, Brennan Dethloff could have always counted on hockey to help him with his battle with depression and anxiety. But when the coronavirus pandemic took hockey away, it was too much for Brennan to take. The 18-year-old senior at Mona Shores High School died January 18th. His parents believe his death was linked to his depression. Brennan was excited to be back on the Sailors varsity hockey team this season. Slipping on that number 22 sweater alongside his teammates meant everything to him, said his parents. Brian and Rana Dethloff, his hockey team, was an extension of family, and it carried a far greater impact than any win or loss ever could. It was his outlet. But once winter high school contact sports seasons were pushed back, not once but twice, that in turn pushed Brennan close to his breaking point. And break he did. He took his own life. See, our kids, our youth are taking the emotional toll on this. Yeah, I tell you all the time that when you look at the statistics of COVID-19 deaths, most of them are from people 60 and over. We're not going to see the rest of the toll until this is well over, until there's really nothing we can do with the elected numbskulls who are destroying the very fabric of our society with their guesses, with their knee-jerk reactions. Suicide rates, like I said earlier, drinking, domestic violence, drug use, Name it. Name any one of them. Those numbers are going through the roof. They're going to do I guarantee you, they're going to do everything they can do to keep those numbers away from the press. And the press, of course, being big fans of Ogrich, they're going to do everything they can to make sure you never see those numbers. But those numbers will be out there. They will be. And let me tell you what, shows like this one right here, once they come out, I'm going to get my greasy little fingers on them and I'm going to report them. You need to know exactly what this woman is doing to this state. Next year is election year. I want her out of Lansing. She is a human wrecking ball, and we are just now starting to feel the full effects of her feckless governorship. All right. I want to talk about this because I ran across this a couple of years ago. I was unaware that this was even going to come up for vote back in 2018. But early in 2018, my wife and I went, we were dropping my daughter off for her last year of college, decided to go to South Haven for about a week and just disappear. South Haven's a beautiful area. Walking around the downtown area, we went into a bookstore, and the person who owned this bookstore asked us to sign this petition to get something on the record books. And I said, well, give me the information. I don't just sign things, but if I agree with this, I will. And basically what it is, and these people voted for it. I just kind of cringed when I saw it go, this probably is not going to go well. And if you don't live in the state of Michigan, or if you haven't been paying attention, in 2018, Michigan voters passed the Independent Redistricting Commission Initiative, which was Proposal 2. In doing so, they commenced a process in which everyday citizens, rather than people who hold a political office, draw the state's new legislative districts, which are based on data from the 2020 census. Now that the census is finished gathering data from public, who exactly is doing the work of redefining Michigan's congressional boundaries? Now, this is coming from stateside staff. That would be a group of 13 randomly selected Michiganders who make up the state's Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission. And you may get your chance to be on that district too, or that commission as well. To find out more about what the commission's responsibilities are, as well as how public input affects the redistricting process, Stateside spoke with Sue Hammersmith, executive director of the commission, and Nancy Wang, executive director of Voters Not Politicians, the nonprofit organization that successfully campaigned for the citizen-led redistricting model. Now, they want you to believe that this is equally made up of people on the right, people on the left, people in the center. It's not always true. It's not true. It's 13 random people. Now, they're not going to tell you what the randomness was, but when this comes out, when their work comes to fruition, it's going to be interesting to see just how fair and balanced these people are. Who decides the randomness of who gets to make these decisions? Who decides the deciders? Now, this was put out there to stop gerrymandering, but it's going to be interesting to see. And this is something you need to pay attention to. It's something that you need to actually get involved in, because I suspect that the people who actually choose the people that are on these commissions probably lean a certain way, and it's going to be interesting to see exactly how they redistrict the state of Michigan and how bad anybody on the right gets their butts handed to them in 2022. I was not at ease with this thing from the very beginning. I'm less at ease of it now, because what you're seeing now is they're districting places off where they're trying to include large cities in every district. Of course, large cities, mean people on the left. The land mass of Michigan, basically from the southern border all the way to the Upper Peninsula, the only places that are actually blue are the Detroit area, Grand Rapids town. You get just outside of there, and that starts turning red again. Lansing, and maybe, possibly most of the time up in the Traverse City area. Almost everywhere else, outside of maybe Kalamazoo, almost everywhere else in this state is bright red. Look at the voting maps. If they redistrict this to where it turns us into a permanent blue state, then you will know that this was a scam from day one. And I suspect it's going to be a scam, and it's going to make our job in 2022 a lot harder. But that's okay, because we can still do it. That also means that there's a lot of people in red areas who can swarm to their poll places and offset the damage that always gets done by the Detroit area, by Macomb County, Oakland County, Wayne County. Every time we get ready to turn into a red state, those people somehow mysteriously found, and this is nothing. I'm not complaining about 2020. This goes back decades. They offset everything magically and mysteriously. That's why when the entire nation turned to Michigan and go, what's going on there? I said, this happens in Michigan every election. Every election. Pay attention. I mean, just back in 2018, somebody went to jail because they found they were rigging the elections. They were running ballots through 3-4 times. They were doing all kinds of stuff. That's why when Michigan did some weird things and found a bunch of ballots, I wasn't surprised. I want it investigated. I want people to hang from ropes if they're found out that they're doing something. And I don't care which side you're on. If you're cheating in an election, you need to spend some prison time. You really do. Well, we got 5 more minutes. I'm Alan Ray. There's no fishing report tonight. Number one, you have to be crazy to be out on the ice this week. Now, the very, very cold weather that we're experiencing right now going to make for some really good ice fishing. Once it all settles back down, fish start biting again, it's going to make for some seriously, seriously good ice fishing. So don't be afraid to get out there. I think we're almost at a point now where the ice is going to be thick enough where it doesn't matter what you do, where you go. Hopefully our feckless governor will see fit to release this state enough where we can have things like tip-up festivals and snowmobile runs and all that stuff again. That brings a lot of money to this state. So stay tuned tonight. Got Jeff coming up with Lost Wanderer at 9 o'clock, right after I sign off. Rick Robinson show's coming up at 11. And yeah, boo, Jeff, no fishing report tonight. Sorry. Fish are all frozen down at the bottom of the lake right now. Everything's an icicle right now. Wind's blowing hard. I didn't even want to go outside today. In fact, I think the only time I actually went out is when I rolled the trash out to the curb for tomorrow morning. I just kind of stayed put the entire day, actually. So I'm Alan Ray. This is Circumspice, the right side of Michigan. Thank you so much for listening. Promise me, Lord, promise me you're going to make that winter survival kit. Put it in your car before you go to work in the morning. Leave it there. In fact, winter survival kit, summer survival kit. Just keep back and forth, back and forth. You have to be able to take care of yourself. We just saw the perfect example at the beginning of this show. Live it, learn it, do it. I'm Alan Ray. All week coming up on KLRNRadio. Just leave it on there, bookmark it. You're just going to love everything that comes across there. Stay tuned for Jeff with the Lost Wanderer. I'm out of here. Have a good week. We'll talk again soon.